I was wondering, I still don't have, I don't have visual sort of abilities, so I've been going along the last couple of years just with the intent of seeing things, even though it's sort of not totally visible. Is that still okay, or should I be seeing things
Nope.
in my head?
Perfectly okay. But let me ask you, so if I said to you, I'm going to describe this, and very nice big rocky mountains like you have in the Canadian Rockies, and they're just, really kind of that steel gray granite, and snow on top of the mountains, and, just a beautiful blue sky, but it's just wide open. It's huge visual space. Can you see that?
I can, yes.
Okay, all right. So now stop right there.
Okay.
That is seeing.
Okay.
That is exactly what seeing is. So all I did was describe something that you have in fact seen before, or if you haven't seen it before, you know what gray rocks are and blue sky is and white snow and wide-ranging mountains. So whether you've ever seen the picture that you just created in your head or not doesn't matter. You just created a visual picture.
Okay.
Now, so if I was to talk about, the elementals and the ferns in the forest, and you get down right into the moss on the ground, and the little fairies live there. Can you see that?
I can, yes. Uh-huh.
Yeah. So same thing. When you start to hear words that don't have that kind of a visualness to it necessarily, but there is, I say, see this, just decide that you're seeing it exactly the same way you just saw those two images.
Okay.
What happens is right here is somebody says, well, I don't see anything. I don't see. And that I don't see begins to be the mask that prevents the imaging to come about. My suggestion, it's like reading a book and hearing, there's a story in the book, and decide you're kind of seeing the story. They go and they open the door and they sneak into the room and there's a window. See all of that. Just begin to pretend, play with it. There's no right or wrong, but that process is permission.
Okay.
And that allows you can't be wrong, you can't do it wrong. Nobody's going to jump up and say, oh, no, they had a red shirt on, they didn't have a blue shirt on like you saw. There's nobody going to do that. And so just decide if you gave the guy a red shirt. What will happen is as you go on, you'll start to just allow that to open up. And a lot of the seeing is not quite in that pure visual color picture pattern, but it shows up in ways that you begin to say, okay, I can see that. And if I said, well, tell me what do you mean you can see that, you actually wouldn't be able to explain it.
Okay. So if I'm, say, swirling energy or sending the energy up, I don't pay much attention to whether it's going clockwise or counterclockwise. I just send it all up.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. But you might just stop and say, which way is it spinning?
Okay.
Ask the question. Don't doubt yourself. There's no grade here. Just simply be curious. Which way is it spinning? And then look, and you might just get this sense, or you might actually see colors spinning as it goes up in the air. It's about permission. And kind of where I'm looking at you've been clairvoyant all your life. It's just you've been told you're not. And then you have a practical, logical sense to you that turns what you see into a logic that simply comes out as an expression of knowing something. But you've always seen.
So if I build my triangles of permission, allowing, acceptance, and just bring that in, or that platform.
Sure, and you might just sit there and even put that into your sixth chakra, and then simply practice. I mean, this is one where you're just sitting waiting for something to happen. Decide that I'm going to create a tree, and then make it big or make it little. And I'm being an artist. I'm just creating this tree. Whatever it is, make it really a simple thing. You're giving yourself permission. You're kind of accepting and allowing something to be playful. That's what turns this all back on. Now, let me take that and add it into it, because where I just told you we were going to loop through the room, if you can just be playful, you're not going to see a tree in this touring through the mental body necessarily. So I'm not suggesting start looking for physical definition.
Right.
But there's going to be a sense of red, or there might be a sense of a kind of a muted but sparkly energy, or you might see things like that.
Okay. Just
allow it and be amused by it. It doesn't mean anything.
Okay.
But if you will kind of validate yourself, and again, I'm talking to everybody here, if you just kind of be playful and validate yourself, you're going to open up these skills. One of the reasons we're touring these aspects of you is exactly to open up all these components of you that haven't been available to you. Now, where we're going, they just haven't been available to you. But things like your telepathies, your intuitions, your clairsentience, your clairvoyance, all of those things, they have been available. And here you can begin to turn them on, utilize them a little bit more fully.
Oh, great. Well, wonderful. Thank you.
Yes, good question.